Hi, friends. So today we want to announce a new Slack group for all these registered students at Applied AI course. As many of you may already know, and as many of you are already part of a Google group that we have, so we have heard a lot of feedback and suggestions from our students saying that Google Groups is not working well for them because of multiple reasons. Because this is not mobile friendly, and it's not working as they would want for student collaboration. The whole idea that we went with, the whole reasoning behind the Google groups is to enhance student relationships and also student interactions and discussions, because we have seen that while we will help you with all the questions, student interactions are key to motivate our students constantly, also to be able to clarify some of their questions faster. So a couple of things that we observed was, we have seen a few WhatsApp groups that the students are part of, and in these WhatsApp groups I was very impressed with an extremely fast. So these WhatsApp groups are extremely active, and when students ask some questions, many questions are actually answered in 10 to 15 minutes by other students, and most of the answers are actually correct, right? So if you send us a question to Applied AI course, we currently have a 24 hours SLA under which we will try and respond to all the comments. But lots of students have these WhatsApp groups where other students are resolving many of their questions even before they reach out to us. And this keeps the students motivated. It also creates a platform for students for interaction. Unfortunately, Google Groups hasn't worked the way we expected it to, because of multiple reasons. Because there is no mobile app, WhatsApp is something that people are already using, it's extremely active, all of those things. But the big limitation with WhatsApp is that you cannot create groups with more than 256 students. So a lot of students are left out of these very active groups, right? So some students, we have heard from some of these students that they have Telegram groups, where Telegram does not have a limitation on number of students, but Telegram again is not very code friendly, right? So if you want to discuss any mathematical equation, or if you want to discuss a snippet of code, right, Telegram is not very friendly, because this is mostly designed for text communication, right? Creating threads and all of that in Telegram is not possible. Telegram is a very straightforward replica of what WhatsApp does, just with larger groups. So there are some Telegram groups where discussions are happening, but they're not still very active, and it's not code friendly. It's mostly text based and things like that. So we experimented with all of these. We have taken feedback from our students, and they said Google Groups is not working, WhatsApp is not working because of just 256 users. Telegram is not very code friendly or discussion friendly, because you're not able to upvote or downvote, or you're not able to constantly discuss and create threads and all of that stuff, right? So we converged to Slack. We experimented with Slack for the last few days. We've invited a few students to our Slack groups, and the interaction there is getting very active. So the best thing is, Slack has a mobile app. Slack has a mobile app. It also has a desktop app, right? Which makes it very easy for you to access Slack. It is also very code friendly. It is very code friendly. If you want to write a small snippet of code and ask for explanation, or if you get a bug, you can just copy paste it and people can respond to it. It has threaded messages, so that each of the interesting questions that other student ask can be threaded where others could contribute. There is also thumbs up, thumbs down, all of those things. So we experimented with Slack, and we felt it's a very apt platform for discussions like this. We have seen a few other online courses also leveraging Slack extensively and having had great success with it. So based on our own experiments, based on feedback from students, we thought, let's move all of our student interactions just the way we had earlier with Google Groups. Now we'll deprecate the Google Group, and we request all of you for student interactions to move to Slack. A couple of things that I want you to ensure. Please do not, please do not, please do not share your assignments there. Please do not share your assignments there, because this could lead to plagiarism. Suppose this is your whole assignment code. If you place a large portion of this assignment code there, others will copy, and both the person who is the actual author of this assignment and the others who copied will be thrown out of the course because of plagiarism. We don't want you to suffer because of it. Suppose if there is a snippet of code, you can take maybe 2-3 lines of code which are generating an error. See, what some of the biggest problems we see as far as code is concerned is code errors and installation errors. You can just copy paste the error that you have, put it in the Slack group, ask people for help, because other students would have faced similar problems when they were doing it. Given that we have thousands of students, I'm sure at least one other student faced the same hardship that you're going through. Because we see that in emails, we see that in comments, there is a lot of repetition, right? And we believe, and students, actually a lot of students have approached us and said, can I help other students? I want to have this active student-student interaction because it keeps me motivated. It inculcates a group behavior of helping each other through the course, because the course requires a lot of hard work and motivation, right? And student-student interactions are a great way to enable it, just like in the offline world. When you go to a classroom, you interact with your other students and build lifetime relationships. And we want you to do the same thing through our interactions on the Slack forum. So please ensure that, please do not copy paste your assignments, because that can get you into trouble with plagiarism. Having said that, let me walk you through the steps that we will have for you to join the Slack group. So this is the link. So we just click on this link. So it is bit.ly/AIC_official_Slack. Under this video, I'll provide this link to you, right? Once you click on this invitation link, it will take you to this Slack invitation page, right? It will take you to this page. You can enter your email address here. If you notice here, there is an email address field here. Please enter the registered email address, the email address that you have registered on Applied AI course. Please only enter that registered email address. If you enter any other email address, it will not be valid, right? Please enter that, verify your email. So once you've entered it, Slack will say, okay, we have sent you an email. Please check your email. So if you go to your email, you get this message saying confirm email. Press on this confirm email. Now your email is part of Slack. Once you do that, once you click on this confirm email button, it will take you to this page. Please fill in your details. Okay, fill in your name, your display name that you want, your password, all of that stuff. Then there are some terms and conditions or terms of service for Slack. Just agree to them, and you'll be redirected to this page on what a Slack discussion channel is. So here, if you want to see the tutorial, there is a nice tutorial that Slack provides. So if you just click on explore Slack, it will tell you, if you have not used Slack before, this tutorial is very good. If you know what Slack already does, you can always skip the tutorial. You can click on this and skip the tutorial. If you want to go through the tutorial, if you're new to Slack, this collaborative platform, please go through so that you understand things better. Now, at the end of it, it says, do you want to get notifications? We strongly recommend you enable notifications so that you know what's happening in the group and you can actively participate. So there is this button here, there is this link here which says enable desktop notifications. Please click on it so that you'll be informed of all the discussions that are happening. So here is how it works now. So once you have joined the Slack group, right, this whole Slack group, you will be able to access one public channel called AIC announcements. This is a public channel that anybody can access, right? So you'll be able to access this public channel immediately. Now, once you've joined this public channel, within 24 hours, so we as admins of this whole Slack group, we will add you to private discussion forums. So there are basically these other discussion forums like code-related issues, concept discussions, interview questions, miscellaneous topics, and suggestions. You cannot directly join these private groups. We will add you to these private groups within 24 hours. So once you have joined this group, within 24 hours, we will cross-check your email address and ensure that if it's a registered email address, we will add you to the Slack group. If anything takes more than 24 hours, please email us. Please email us at team@appliedaicourse, the standard email that most of you know. If there is any problem, just go to team@appliedaicourse.com, right? And just inform us your email address that you have registered, and just mention that you have not been added even though it's been 24 hours since you joined this group. These channels, these discussion channels like code-related issues, concept discussions, interview questions, miscellaneous, and suggestions are limited to our registered students only, right? Having said that, The other very important thing is if somebody has put in a message here, and if you want to respond to that message, you can start a thread. So there is this button here, if you see this button. So for any message, if I say hi, right, you have these buttons here. Just click on this button and it will start a threaded message wherein you would have a question. You can create threads here. You can respond to this question, you can respond to this comment, so on and so forth. That way you can have a coherent threaded discussion just like in Google Groups. This is not possible in WhatsApp, or it's not very, while it's possible partially, it's not very well designed in WhatsApp and Telegram. That's the reason we are using Slack mostly. We also strongly recommend that you install the Slack app. So I'll give you this whole PDF file. I'll provide this whole file for you in the description section so that you can access it, right? And you can get this Slack app on your mobile phone and desktop. We strongly recommend that you install the mobile phone app and the desktop app so that you can participate in these discussions more actively. You can also track if others have answered your question. Suppose you ask a question, right? If others have responded to it, if you have a mobile app, you can see these answers at any time instead of you having to log into it. So mobile app and desktop app are extremely useful for Slack. So currently we have 6 channels. We have a channel called AAIC Announcements. This is a public channel where only the team at Applied AI course can post all the news, announcements, all of that, right? This is a public channel which anybody can see. Our registered students have access only, our registered students only have access to these channels. So the code related issues, this is primarily a channel to discuss your code related questions, any installation problems you have or any code errors that you get. And it's primarily to interact with other students to resolve your questions. Of course, if any question is not resolved here, please feel free to reach out to us and we are here to help you. So the Slack forum is mostly for student-student interaction to speed up resolution of some of these, right? So there might be a very simple error that you're getting, just paste it on a Slack channel first, and I'm sure the other students would be able to quickly help you within 10-15 minutes. If something is not resolved after a couple of hours, please feel free, or a few hours, right? If something is not resolved on the Slack channel, feel free to reach out to us and we will help you and resolve this. So on the Slack channel itself, the Applied AI course team is not going to be very active. We are not going to be very active here. So anything that you want to discuss with us, still reach out to team at Applied AI course. That's where we are guaranteed to respond to you, right? We are creating the whole Slack group mostly for student-student interaction, right? Of course, we will monitor this for any abuse or anybody who is not behaving in the right way. So any of those misbehavior on the Slack channel, you will be thrown out of it. So please be courteous to other students. Please be respectful to them. Please understand that all the students are here to help each other, right? So please don't misbehave here. Having said that, the third channel that we have is called Concept Discussions. This channel is mostly for discussion of concepts in machine learning and DL, which are not code related. Okay, we also have a channel called Interview Questions, where people can share their interview experiences, interview questions that they have been asked or their friends have been asked, where students can discuss this. This is a very active part of it. There is also 2 other sessions called Miscellaneous and Suggestions. Miscellaneous is for anything that doesn't fall into these 3 brackets. Anything that is neither code related, nor concept related, or interview related. Right? This is for all the miscellaneous and other topics. Suggestions is something that we will constantly look at and we will try and respond as soon as we can. Suggestions are basically suggestions for the team at Applied AI course on how we can improve the course for all the students, right? So that's very, very important because we constantly transform ourselves to better serve our students, right? So suggestions is something, of course, we've gotten a lot of suggestions. We're already working on some of these suggestions. The suggestions forum is basically where the whole team at Applied AI course will actively look into it and will try to respond to as many as possible. We can also brainstorm here. All of us can brainstorm here on how to best solve the problem. It is not possible for any group of people to have the best ideas. It is foolish to assume that only the team at Applied AI course can come up with best ideas. It's foolish. It is our students who can contribute and give us great suggestions so that everybody benefits here, right? So in miscellaneous one section, in the miscellaneous channel, one of the things that I'm looking forward for is students sharing their experiences on how they are motivated every day. Because we have some students who constantly work day in, day out, weekday, weekend, constantly work hard to finish the course. So we want to hear some of those suggestions that you have for other students on how to stay motivated through this whole journey. See, because this is a journey that we all have started together and are working together on, right? So I'm looking for some great sharing and caring on these channels. We will not be very active here. Of course, we will be very active on the suggestions part, and we'll try to respond to them. And we'll try to take these suggestions and incorporate them into our course. Rest of them, we leave them very open-ended for our students. We leave them very, very open-ended for our students to discuss and chat on, right? So you'll see these 6 channels that you'll be added into, right? So AAC announcements is a public channel. That's why you have the hash. Rest of them are all private channels, limited only to our registered students, right? Because only our registered students have access to our course, and most importantly, our mentorship, our assignments, our suggestions, our blogging competitions, all of them, right? So this is where we are. All the very best, and once again, thanks to all of our students who have given us terrific feedback. Again, at the end of the day, all of this is possible because of our student feedback, right? Keep these suggestions coming. Let's innovate our way, and let's keep improving the course on a day-to-day basis, right? On all fronts, it could be just about a small group. And thanks to all the students who said Google Groups is not working, and some of the students who shared with us on how well the WhatsApp group is working, on some of the downfalls or some of the limitations of both WhatsApp and Telegram. Actually, some of our students actually suggested us Slack. That's when we started experimenting. And thanks to all the students, keep these suggestions coming. See, this is a collaborative effort that we want our students to be partners in, because in the long term, it's our students who matter.